My sister texted me 4 words that punched the air out of my chest. "Don't come to the wedding." I stared at the screen, still holding the receipt for the last payment I'd made, part of the $100,000 I'd spent to build her dream ceremony. The venue, the flowers, the band, every detail. All because she said she needed me. But that text wasn't the part that broke me. What came after my mother's explanation, the planner's silence, and the discovery buried inside the contracts was what changed everything. And the moment I used it, none of them saw it coming. My name is Amanda Cole, and for most of my life, I've been the person everyone trusted to handle things. I didn't earn that title through affection or praise. It was assigned to me the way you assign chores to the kid who won't talk back. Growing up in Spokane, I learned early that calmness wasn't a personality trait in my family. It was a requirement. My mother, Helen, used to say I was steady, the kind of daughter who didn't need checking on. My little sister, Lily, was the opposite, sensitive, fragile, easily overwhelmed. That was the word they used, fragile, as if she were made of thin glass and I was the towel used to wrap her. While Lily was being comforted, soothed, protected from anything remotely uncomfortable, I was the one walking myself to elementary school, filling out my own field trip forms, cooking instant noodles in the microwave, because Mom was driving Lily to another art lesson she'd quit 2 weeks later. Dad Rob loved us both, but he stayed out of anything emotional. If Mom made a decision, he backed it by staying quiet. Silence was his way of saying, "Don't ask me to pick sides." By the time I reached adulthood, the pattern was cemented. Lily didn't just expect help, she existed inside a world where help would always arrive. And I existed in the world next door, the one where needing anything was an inconvenience. So when she got engaged to Connor, tall, smooth-talking, good-on-paper Connor, I wasn't surprised my mother called me the same night. She didn't ask how my day was or how work at the healthcare firm was going. She went straight to Amanda. Lily's dream wedding is finally happening. She wants something beautiful. And you're so good at managing things. That was the beginning of a 6-month stretch filled with invoices, deposits, design calls, mood boards, emails from vendors, and endless drafts from the planner. I paid for the dress fee. Lily cried tears of joy over. The ballroom she circled in with her phone, whispering, "This is it." The imported flowers she said she'd always imagined holding. Every bill and payment passed across my laptop under the warm kitchen lights of my Seattle apartment, and I believed it was worth it. I believed I was finally doing something that mattered to someone who never really saw me. But just when everything was in place, just when I thought I'd bought a seat at my own sister's happiness, something shifted in a way so small it almost felt accidental. Almost. It started with little things small enough that if I mentioned them out loud, I'd sound paranoid. A planner forgetting to CC me on a call, a florist asking Lily for final approval even though I'd been the one paying the invoices, a band coordinator who emailed her directly instead of me. At first I brushed it off. People get busy. Mistakes happen. But then there was Patricia Connor's mother. We met once on a video call about the rehearsal dinner. She smiled politely, but her eyes kept sharpening whenever I spoke, like she was trying to figure out where I fit. At one point she said, "We want the ceremony to feel peaceful, simple, no stress." She paused on the word peaceful as if it were aimed at me and not the logistics. I didn't understand the meaning then. Later it became painfully clear. About a week after that call, I noticed the planner wasn't updating the shared folder anymore. The documents were there, but any new decisions were happening somewhere else. I emailed her twice short, neutral messages. She responded once saying, "We'll keep Lily closely looped in." Closely looped in, as if Lily had suddenly become the project manager. Then the questions stopped coming to me altogether. Lily started acting strangely too. Short texts, delayed replies, no more excited voice memos about tablecloth colors or desserts. One afternoon, I called to ask if she wanted help reviewing seating charts, something she'd previously begged me to do. She sighed and said, "Let me think about it," then hung up without waiting for my response. For someone who used to call me crying about a chipped nail, it felt like whiplash. But the real shift came the week before the wedding. I was sitting at my kitchen table in Seattle going through payments for the final installments when Lily's name lit up my phone. I smiled, expecting a thank you or a last-minute request. Instead, it was a text so blunt it didn't feel real. "Don't come to the wedding." I reread it 3 times, waiting for context, an apology, a joke, a follow-up. Nothing. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. Finally, I texted, "What's going on?" 3 dots appeared, then vanished. Reappeared. Vanished again. 20 minutes later, Mom called. "Amanda." She said softly, the same tone she used whenever she needed something. "Don't take it personally. Patricia wants to avoid tension. You know how you can be too direct. Lily wants everything to go smoothly." I felt heat rising up my neck. I paid for everything I said quietly. "You're the strong one," Mom replied. "You understand." There it was, that old sentence. The sentence that excused everything. I hung up before she finished talking. For the rest of the night, I sat in my dim kitchen, staring at the contracts open on my laptop. I should have felt heartbroken, or furious, or humiliated. Instead, I felt something sharper clarity, because as I traced the lines of those documents, one detail stood out, pulsing like a beacon I had never noticed before. Every contract, every agreement, every payment, all of it was under one name. Mine. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my kitchen with only the glow of my laptop and the steady Seattle rain tapping the window. The wedding contracts were spread across my screen. Payments, bills, emails, timelines. I'd seen them 100 times before, but never like this. Never with the understanding that I had been erased from an event I had built. My hands were steady, too steady. I clicked open the venue agreement first, scanned down the text I'd skimmed months ago. And there it was, bold, almost smug in its simplicity. Primary signer Amanda Cole. Cancellation rights reserved exclusively for the signer. I leaned back in my chair. A cold calm settled in, thicker than anger, heavier than hurt. It wasn't rage. It was recognition of power I didn't know I still had. My phone buzzed on the counter, Mom again. I let it ring. I opened the catering agreement. Same thing. Signer me. The florist. Me. The band. Me. The decor team. The transport service. The photo. Booth. Me. In every document, every place Lily had dreamed of walking through in white, the only person with authority wasn't her. It was me. My pulse finally picked up, not from fear, but from something close to awakening. At 12:47 a.m., I opened a new email. "Hello, Kimberly." I typed to the venue coordinator, "As the signer on this event, I'm formally requesting cancellation effective immediately." I paused for half a second, breathed, and hit send. One email, then another, to every vendor, every coordinator, every contact who had ever called me such a responsible sister. The replies came quicker than I expected. Received. Understood. Will process the refund according to policy. Thank you for the notice, Amanda. No questions, no hesitation, because I wasn't asking. I was exercising the authority they'd always assumed I'd never use. Around 2 a.m., I made my first call to the coastal group, the catering team. The manager, a man named Michael, who had spent weeks shaping Lily's perfect menu, answered, sounding half asleep. "Amanda, everything." "All right, I'm canceling," I said simply. "I'm the signer. Please proceed under the contract terms." He exhaled slowly. I figured something like this might happen. We'll take care of it. Next was the florist, then the band, then the transport team. Every call was the same calm voices, quiet acknowledgments, the soft hum of professionals who had seen this kind of implosion before. By 3:30 a.m., my inbox was full of confirmations. The wedding piece by piece was collapsing silently, efficiently, exactly the way it had been built. Around dawn, I closed my laptop. The sky outside was a pale silver, the kind Seattle shows only after a long night. I stood up, stretched, and poured myself a fresh cup of coffee. For the first time in years, my chest didn't feel tight. They told me not to come to the wedding. Fine, I wasn't coming. I was taking the wedding with me. The morning after I canceled everything, my phone looked like it was melting. Missed calls stacked to the edge of the screen, voicemails piling up behind them. I didn't listen to a single one. Instead, I made breakfast the same way I always did: eggs, toast, black coffee. The kind of quiet routine that steadied me more than any apology they could have delivered. Around noon, the first real domino fell. A message from the venue coordinator lit up my phone. Lily and her family arrived asking to restore the booking. We informed them the signer must authorize changes. I imagined it perfectly, my mother's smile tightening, Lily's eyes widening, Patricia stepping forward like she could out-negotiate policy. Another email followed. They're upset. We're following procedure. I set the phone face down. By 3 p.m., the text shifted from confusion to panic. Amanda, call me now. Why would you sabotage the wedding? This is humiliating. You're acting unstable. Unstable. The word they used when they didn't want to face what they'd done. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop and compiled everything, emails, receipts, payments, cancellations into a single folder labeled records. Evidence, not conversation. At 9 p.m., the doorbell rang. No one visited me unannounced ever. I checked the peephole. Lily. She looked nothing like the curated version of herself she'd shown the world for years. Her hair was frizzy. Her mascara smudged, her sweater stretched at the sleeves. She wasn't crying yet, but the pressure was right there, collecting at the edges. Amanda, she whispered when I opened the door. Please, let me in. She sat on the very edge of my couch, elbows on her knees, clutching her phone like it was the last thing tethering her to anything stable. Why did you do this? She asked. I kept my voice even. You told me not to come. She shook her head. It wasn't meant literally. Texts are literal, I said. She looked down. I was stressed. Patricia said it might be calmer if you weren't there. She thinks you're too intense. I couldn't help the small laugh that escaped. Intense. Patricia hasn't seen intense. Lily twisted her fingers. I didn't think you'd react like this. How did you think I'd react? I asked. After paying for everything. She didn't answer. Finally, she murmured, Mom said you wouldn't mind. You're strong. You understand. That sentence again, the one they weaponized against me. I stood. I canceled because I was the signer. Because I was removed. Because you expected my money without inviting me. Her chin trembled. We need the wedding back. They said it can't go forward without you. The venue actually told us to contact the signer. They made us wait in the lobby like we were intruding. I nodded once. You were. She blinked hard. Amanda, please, just sign it again. Put it back. Connor's family is furious. You wanted me gone, I said. Now you want me back because you need what I provided, not who I am. The doorbell rang again, 3 sharp presses. Lily flinched. I opened it. Mom stepped inside before I said a word, face tight with a mix of anger and desperation. Behind her stood Patricia, perfectly composed, except for the stiff posture of someone scrambling to maintain authority. Mom started first. Amanda Marie Cole, what is the meaning of this? I folded my arms. The meaning of what? Canceling the wedding, she snapped. You're embarrassing us. You erased me first, I said. Mom waved her hand. We did what we had to do to keep things peaceful. You broke the peace, I replied. You removed me from the wedding I paid for. Patricia stepped forward, voice clipped. We needed a harmonious environment. You complicate things. I stared at her. This is me calm, completely calm. She faltered but recovered. Your behavior proves our concern. My behavior, I repeated. I sent polite cancellations. Meanwhile, you told people I was having a breakdown. Patricia looked away. Mom didn't. Mom crossed her arms. Fix this, Amanda. No, I said simply. Lily's voice broke. Please. The venue said you're the only one who can authorize the reinstatement. They said we'd have to ask you. Her voice cracked on the word ask. She wasn't used to asking me for anything besides money. Then ask, I said quietly. Ask properly. She swallowed hard. Amanda, please, sign it. No. Her knees buckled and she sank into the couch. Mom gasped softly. Patricia stiffened. Why? Lily whispered. Why are you doing this to me? I'm not doing anything to you, I said. I'm doing something for myself. Silence swelled in the room. Then I delivered it, the final line I'd rehearsed only in my mind. You removed me from your wedding, so I removed your wedding from my name. Mom's breath hitched. Patricia turned pale. Lily covered her mouth, eyes wide, shattered. No more calls, I added. No more texts. No more using my strength as your excuse. Mom reached for me, but I stepped back. Please leave. They stared at me, waiting for the familiar softening the surrender. It didn't come. Eventually, they filed out, stunned, defeated, scrambling for a new version of the story to tell the world. When the door clicked shut, I exhaled. Not in triumph, just release. A life finally returned to its rightful owner. In the days that followed, the chaos around the canceled wedding spun louder than anything I'd ever experienced. Yet my own world grew strangely quiet. My Seattle apartment felt different, almost lighter, as if removing myself from their expectations had finally opened a window I didn't know was sealed shut. Vendors continued sending confirmation emails, refunds, processing accounts closed, balances finalized. Every line affirmed one thing: I had acted within my rights. No drama, no breakdown, just a woman reclaiming what she once gave away too easily. My mother tried calling for a week straight. I didn't pick up. Each voicemail sounded less angry and more confused, like she couldn't understand how the one daughter who never pushed back had suddenly learned how. Where noise used to be, I found space. I started therapy again, returning to Dr. Marlene's warm office with its quiet clock and soft lighting. For the first time, I didn't talk about Lily or my mother. I talked about myself, what I wanted, what I no longer needed to prove. It felt unfamiliar but good, like stepping into a room built just for me. I also joined a Women in Tech mentorship circle. Wednesday nights became the highlight of my week. Women who spoke plainly, asked directly, and didn't punish each other for having boundaries. I learned how to say no without apologizing. I learned how to ask for things without shrinking. And for the first time in my life, I started choosing myself, not out of anger, but out of clarity. A month later, on a quiet Sunday morning, I walked along Lake Union with a cup of black coffee and realized something simple, but new. My life finally felt like mine. Not borrowed, not demanded, not shaped around someone else's emergencies. Mine. Lily eventually sent a letter, not asking for money, not asking for the wedding back, just acknowledging what she'd broken and what she couldn't undo. I didn't rush to forgive her. Some things need time, space, and honesty before they can be rebuilt. But for once, the choice was mine to make, not an obligation pressed into my hands. And that's the point, isn't it? Boundaries aren't punishments. They're doors you close so peace has somewhere to stay. If you've ever carried a family on your back until you disappeared beneath it, tell me your story in the comments. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe for the next one.